So the best list, when you're starting out, you got to look at the lists that you target in two different buckets. You have a distress bucket, and picture like a pond. We're fishing in a pond. We're going out fishing, and you and I are going fishing in these ponds. You can fish in a pond of distress, or you can fish in a pond of non-distress, right? If you fish in the pond of distress, you know that every single fish that bites, every single fish you get on the hook is going to be distressed. That means every caller, every seller that calls in, every person that calls, whether their story, and they're telling you a story, they want retail, or there's nothing going on, or they're not even talking about, you know that there's distress no matter what because of the pond you're fishing in, right? You know that they're all distressed. So that's number one. Number two is that non-distress. That is owner occupants and non-owner occupied. Now we target that list of non-distress, and now we're hoping to find distress. So we want to narrow that list down as much as possible on knowing exactly what buyers are buying, number one, and what our perfect property avatar is. So, and I'll talk about JV here in a quick, because I think it's important. So the bottom line is that when we're targeting distress, let me tell you the list of distress. I think I just told you. We've got pre-foreclosure, right? You can get from flipmorehouses.com. You've got property tax default, right? They haven't paid their property taxes. I get those from rebogateway.com. Inheritance and probate list you get from successordata.com, Successor Data. You get vacant properties from flipmorehouses.com. At Flip More House, you can watch the demo there. And then you can get code violations. If you look at my previous story, I gave you an email address of this guy named Octoon who sends us our code violations every single day. Now, someone also asked for a water shutoff list. I don't have a water shutoff list, but ask that Octoon guy to see if he does do water shutoff. All right, so that's the distressed. And people go, where do I start first? Start with pre-foreclosure and then move into all the distress. You should be mailing your distress list, cold calling your distress list, RVMing your distress list, voice broadcast, doing all the texting that distress list. And that should be 100% focused surrounding those distress lists until your marketing budget exceeds all that, right? Then you move into non-distress, right? So we target all of the distress lists, and we direct mail them with a postcard, we RVM them, we voice broadcast them, we text them, and we cold call them. We do all the above with the distress list. Then, obviously our budget exceeds the amount of what we're doing, then we move in. So it's budget dictated, right? If you want to know what your marketing budget should be, it should be 15% minimum, up to 25% max. 25% is highly aggressive, 15% should be minimum that you reinvest back into marketing to create growth in your business, right? So that's your marketing budget. Now the non-distress list is owner, occupant, and absentee owners. Those lists you target, you want to target the and we call it the perfect property avatar. So we went into all the deals we made over $20,000 on. In those deals, we went out and found the year built, the bed and bath, the square footage, and the zip code those properties were in. And then what we did is put a 10-year ownership to make sure that they had equity in the property. So once you do that, then you can surround that list similarly like you do with your distress list. That will go out and get you some deals.